Contrarily, the descendants of slaves were left impoverished and powerless. And what it did was it transferred most of the nation's wealth and resources into the hands of white folks who passed that wealth down to their children. And that's why if you go through, give me a yes or no, if you go through the city of Chicago and you look at all the skyscrapers that are worth more than $100 million, do you think any of those skyscrapers are owned by Black people? Have you ever seen a $100-200 million skyscraper that was clearly owned by a Black-owned company? There's thousands of them. I mean, it's got to be at least 10 or 20 or 30 or 50 or 100, right? Are any of the, if you go through downtown Denver or downtown Seattle or downtown New York, do you see $100 million, $200 million, $300 million skyscrapers that are owned by Black people? Yes or no? What do you guys think? Is that what you guys see when you go there, or do you see something different? The answer is no, right? There are no, you don't see this, right? And this is something that we're used to. We just take this for granted. We just assume, okay, white people own everything, right? Well, how did that happen? How was this nation built where one group has everything, one group has nothing? Well, a lot of it obviously can be seen in history. When you think about, for example, Juneteenth, we're taught to celebrate Juneteenth. And I'm not going to say that there's nothing to celebrate, right? There were some benefits from being moved from being unpaid slaves to being paid slaves. But that's what Juneteenth was. They were forced to go back to the plantation. Their wages were chosen by their masters. And then they went from being slaves to sharecroppers. And sharecroppers are basically people that have so much debt that they'll never work themselves out of debt. So you're pretty much stuck forever. So modern day sharecroppers are people that have so many student loans, for example, that they can't quit their job because they have to keep paying back this illegal debt that was accumulated through student loans. That was designed in a specific way, because if you're deep in debt and you have to repay and they can force you to repay, then you got to keep working. And capitalism needs people to do the work. So here, Dr. Anderson says in the intro of his book, The Black History Reader, he says the second purpose of this book is to declare exceptionality of the descendants of slaves in America, their unique and substantive contributions to the developments of this country, and their maltreatment by all segments of the society. Their exceptionality distinguishes them from any other group in America.